Some of you may remember a few years ago, Honda brought out their first electric car, the Honda E. It was a quirky little thing, but it was just that. It was a small car with low range and it cost a fortune. No surprise then that it didn't sell very well. And when it flopped, Honda decided they needed to make an EV that appealed to a lot of people, and thus we have the Honda eNY1. Admittedly, the name isn't very catchy, but do you think this will catch on? Well, there's a lot to like about this car, but there's a few things that let it down quite a bit as well, so let me show you around. Now, you might be thinking that Honda have just taken the HRV and stuck a battery in it, and you wouldn't be far wrong, but there are a few things that really set this apart. Talking about the design in general, personally, I quite like it. It's typically Honda, it's a bit plain, it's a bit simple, but that makes it look quite elegant, and this platinum white pearl paint on here really helps with that. It just sets off the gloss black details you've got here, and of course the privacy glass in the rear windows there as well. But what makes this different from the HRV is this front section here. First off, you've got this flat panel here with the Honda badge, and you might notice it is white, and that's what's going to differentiate between the normal internal combustion cars and their electric cars. You'll also notice them on the alloy wheels as well. But this panel here is actually your charging point, so really nice that it pops up there, and those little flashing lights do wink at you while you're charging, which is a little bit quirky. Down the bottom here, you've just got some more styling cues and a few little vents and stuff around the side, and these nice sharp LED lights that really give it some road presence. The rear of this car tells a very different story. You can see here you've got a little spoiler in the roof, but it looks quite flat, and those C-pillars sweep right down into this gorgeous LED light bar across here. I do like this because it adds a 3D effect to the car and makes it a bit more exciting, but it just sort of separates the bottom half, which I then think's a bit boring. And looking at the car from the side, overall, I think it looks a bit squashed, but I know that this will divide opinions because some people won't like it at all, and other people will think it looks like a sporty coupe. So let me know in the comments down below what you think of the car. Do you like that rear design? Does it look sporty to you, or do you think, like me, just looks a little bit strange? Now, this slope and roof design really affects the boot space that you have here. So there's 344 litres of space with the seats in place, and there is storage underneath for your charging cables, but that's about it. In terms of other cars around this size and for an SUV, that's not a lot of boot space at all. But it does have a handy feature which I really like. You can press this button here and it waits until you've walked away before closing the boot, which is handy for grabbing all your shopping bags, then walking away, and then the car will close over itself. I think what's happened is they've pushed the boot back further, making it a bit smaller, so that passengers have lots of room in here. That's in my driving position there, and I still have loads of legroom, and I've got plenty of headroom as well. And there's a glass roof in here, which makes it feel even more bright and airy. The seats are well cushioned, and I'm very, very comfortable sitting here, and could quite happily do a long journey in this. Now, the front cabin of the eNY1, again, is typical to Honda, but it's a bit more modern with this 15.1-inch touchscreen display in the centre here. It does sort of take over everything else, and all your controls are in here. So it's split over 3 sections, which is a bit overwhelming at first, but after a while it does make sense and you get used to it. Up the top is where you'll see your sat nav and your reversing cameras and your clock. The centre is sort of your main control station where you can pick what menus you want to see. And then down the bottom is your climate controls. I wish there was more physical buttons for your climate controls because it can be a bit annoying trying to use them while you're driving. Another way of saving space is to use these buttons for your gear select instead of a stick. And you've also got your drive mode down here, electric parking brake and park assist. Because of all that space saving, there's quite a bit of storage here. So you've got your glove box, which carries a handbook but gives quite a bit more space for everything else. You also have more storage bins in the doors, 2 deep cup holders here, and quite a small little cubby under the armrest. Now, with most electric cars, driving around town is nice and peaceful because there's no noise from like a petrol engine or a diesel engine. But the eNY1 still makes noise. There's like a constant whine, which is annoying, to be honest. I don't know why it's there, unless it's the external noise for pedestrians. that's a safety thing. But hearing it inside is irritating. Everything else actually feels quite good. It's a 68.8 kilowatt hour battery in here, which gives it a range of like 260 something miles, and it's the equivalent of around 206 PS. So it's not exactly slow, it is powerful, and it's decent range as well. But Honda are boasting about this technology for fast charging, and realistically, it's not that impressive. This car can charge from 10 to 80% in 45 minutes, which 3 or 4 years ago would have been good, but now that's actually subpar. The visibility is great though. There's big windows, big mirrors, you can see everything. And of course, when you're going to park, if you're in reverse, you've got your cameras there as well with the bird's eye view, so it's really handy. The brakes are nice and soft is the wrong word, but they're gentle. They're You don't like slam the brakes every time you put your foot near it, but there's enough braking power there to give you confidence. And just as we mentioned about that battery and the horsepower, we're just going to take this up onto a dual carriageway now and get it up to speed and see what the noise is like then, because I'm hoping that the road noise takes over that whine. Okay, so already 55, 58, 60. It picks up speed, no problem at all, and I'm barely touching the accelerator. Unfortunately, that whining noise I was talking about just seems to get louder, and then there's road noise as well. I think on a long journey that would really bug me. You would want to turn your music up quite loud to go over that. That said, the drive itself isn't that bad. The car is just like rolling along there, and I'm very comfortable in here. Of course, these big cushion seats really help with that, but it's quite pleasant. There is also paddle shifters on the back of the steering wheel, and of course it's an EV, so there's no gears in here, but they actually control how severe the regenerative braking is. So you can turn the levels up and down, and that will determine how much the car slows down when you take your foot off the accelerator, and in turn how much power gets put back in to the battery from that. Now the regen braking is quite good, again for longer journeys. It won't keep your battery fully charged, but it does help give you a few extra miles when you need them. So we're on this country road now, full of little twists and turns, and the Honda's managing it quite well. There's not a lot of body roll, and it feels pretty stable. Again, there's only around 200 horsepower here, but that's more than enough. You never really need all of that at any one time in the UK. And going over this road here where you're having to brake and accelerate, twist and turn, it puts the power down very evenly, and there's no point where I feel like it's slipping away from me. So again, it's just inspiring that confidence, and that's just typical of Honda, where you just know exactly what to expect from it. It's a nice, comfortable and relaxing drive, very predictable, which some people might find boring, but other people like that security. So the Honda eNY1 might have a strange name, but it's definitely no stranger. It's typically Honda all round, from the styling to the great build quality and that predictable drive that everyone knows and loves. To me, this is a good car, but I think it's a bit pricey. Prices for this start at around £40,000, and for that sort of money, you could get another EV which is a similar size, but will give you more space and even bigger batteries as well, which then comes with more power, more range, and faster charge times. I think this would be a great car for families who need all that space in the back, because that was pretty surprising to me. And there's two Isofix seats in there as well, and you would easily get two of them in there. Alternatively, if you are a Honda customer already, maybe you have an HR-V and you're looking to transition into an electric vehicle, I think you really would love this because it's so familiar. And it wouldn't be daunting moving totally different brand and electrification all in the one go. So it would be a good stepping stone for you. For new customers who haven't had Honda before, I think you'd be a bit disappointed in this. And for me, it's just slightly missed the mark a little bit. It drives well, it just could be a bit better. Anyway, I hope I've answered all your questions about this car. If not, please leave a comment down below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. But thanks for watching this video. If you've enjoyed it, please subscribe to this channel where I'll bring you even more car reviews to help you find the perfect car for your lifestyle. Anyway, thanks again for watching. I'll see you soon in the next video.